Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you are welcome to today's live coding session, and we'll be focusing on what we have for this stage C, and for this stage C is majorly on web scraping. So we'll be scraping a website data today and just trying to introduce the basic concept of what web scraping is. So without wasting much ado, let me have your phone. Oh, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So before we start proper, let's just probably give say by 12:35 we'll start properly, just to give accommodation to whoever is going to join us within that time frame. Okay, so as I would say usually, if you have any question while the LCS is going on, you can just stop me. If you're on Zoom, you can unmute yourself and ask whatever question is. You can bring me back. While if you are following us on YouTube, you can paste your question on the chat box. I might not see it immediately, but immediately I see the question, I'm going to respond to that automatically. So at any point in time, if you have the question, you are free to bring me back. Okay, so in just 3 more minutes, if you have any other person join us, then we'll start properly. Okay, so I think we can start now. We've seen more turnout on YouTube. So as I stated previously, we'll be working on web scraping for this stage, and as is the case for, I don't know, I'm not a statistician, I cannot put an actual number, but at least for most guys, we know football is like one of the greatest things to one of us. So it is only fair that the web scraping I'm going to be using for this live coding session is going to be a football data. So I'm going to be scraping data from a football website, and there are actually some issues with web scraping now because um companies, organizations, website owners, they don't like their data being scrapped actually. So is it, I think when I'm not saying scrapping, I think the word should be scraped, but it is what it is. Pardon my pronunciation or the lack of. So they don't like when people scrape their data, so they try to like put in a lot of stringent conditions. So most websites are now changing the way they give us front end in a way, because the usual way of scraping data is because we rely on the fact that HTML can be parsed, these tags, table row, and all of those kind of stuff. You'll see all of that in due time. But companies now have started changing the way they showcase, the way they the way their website source code is. So it's been getting increasingly harder to scrape data, but the fact is it's still possible. You just have to be very, very smart when you are doing it. Another thing that companies resort to is they try to another thing that companies resort to is that they try to throttle the amount of requests they can receive in a particular number of times. So what we mean by throttle is um um whatever scraping data you're trying to use, it will send a lot of requests. You get it will send a lot of requests in a limited amount of time, because it is not hindered by the fact that it has to go through different websites. It's a computer, so it's just going to keep sending out these requests and trying to get it. And when you are trying to pull a lot of data, it will notify their servers that, okay, this is probably an automated system trying to scrape our data, then let us stop it dead in its tracks. So to do that, they will throttle the request, and any request that exceeds that limit, they will have what they are going to ban that IP. So the solution for that in recent time has been to use a web scraper host that knows how to immediately change your IP. So there are, if you search online for web scraping tools, there are a lot of tools that have come over the time that have been able to try to navigate all of these issues that we have with web scraping. But as usual, it's going to be paid, and the essence of being a data scientist is for you to not be dependent on external tools, but for you to be able to work on yours for yourself. So what we're going to be doing today is this we're going to be scraping data from this football website, and we'll be going through the process methodologically. So the first thing we're going to do is, because so this is the website I'm going to be scraping for. It actually took a lot of search to see a website that will actually allow me to scrape this data the way I'd want it. So for your tag along projects, you guys are going to you are actually left with, you are given the choice to select whatever platform it is you are going to be scraping from. So because it is not going to be nice to constrain you people to the same thing, so that might be similar. So you have the choice to choose any website it is you want to scrape from, any kind of tool you want to use, and just try to come up with your own report after scraping the data. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be inspecting this page. So this can look a little, okay, let me just, I hope everyone can see my screen though. If you can see my screen, just confirm. Or
Yes.
all right, thank you very much. So um I see. All right. So moving on. So you guys can see this inspect stuff on this hand side. So this is what, it's a tool to inspect the elements of a web page. Every web browser, Google Chrome, um, Microsoft Edge, Samsung browser, any web browser, as long as it's a desktop browser, not for a mobile device, for a desktop, you have the opportunity to inspect a page and view the source of that page. Okay, before I do that, let me try and do this. Let's view the page source. So if we view the page source using Control U, it's open us a new tab, and you can see this is the HTML. This is the HTML file that is rendering this front end to us. This front end is hosted somewhere. Yes, there's a backend and all, but whatever it is they were seeing here, it is controlled by what? It is controlled by this front end. So this is the code, and you see there are even some codes that are very very much more longer than this, and when you want to scrap, you need to be able to know how to navigate all of this to find the exact place that you want to get your data. So we are not going to be working with this, because this is not what we need. We are going to be working with the inspect tool. So let me open up that again. So the inspect tool is what we're going to be using, because when you are using the inspect tool, you are able to navigate when in the code is actually responsible for that particular aspect of the code you're in. What do I mean? You can see that once I put my mouse to this aspect, it has highlighted this page, so that, okay, you can see this part below is not highlighted. The only part being highlighted is this part above. So it is showing us that this part is controlled by whatever is here is controlled by this class of code. So as you can see, interactive window, blah 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 blah. So if I click on, so that's what this shows us. So clicking on the edge, there's nothing. So I'll keep coming. What I want is, I want to get something that will show me where all of this is, just for demonstration purposes. That will show me that, okay, this bar here is where I can get it. So if I click on this, so I can see that, okay, this is actually all of this script, and so I can see that everything is embedded in the in the body. So you can see this is the body. So if I click on any other thing apart from the body, apart from this. So this is the HTML that shows that this is the whole HTML page. Then the body is what contains all of this data. So in the body, so if I click, you see, once I click on this div shows that okay, it is in charge of one particular case. Okay, let me expand this div. So in this div, this is the header. So this is the part of the code that is responsible for whatever it is I'm seeing here. That's this data for EPL, data for League One and stuff. And you can see that's the header. So if I click on this header and I just expand this further, you can see. So this is the navigation. So even in this header, there's a part that is in charge of the left hand side. There's a part that is in charge of the right hand side. So if I expand this part in charge of the left hand side, so you can see that here, this is the list. So all of this. So this is the list. This is what is containing this list. So you can see in this list, see this EPL, which is whatever it is we are seeing here. See, the next one is what a list is what La Liga, which is whatever it is we are seeing here. The next we have is what.
Hello, can you hear me,
Sorry.
sir?
Yes, I
Can you hear
can
me?
hear you.
How do you
Yes,
know that left hand side is the right hand side? 'Cause I can't see EPL, I can't see Bundesliga, Serie A, and Co. there. I don't know, maybe there's a way you are seeing it. I'm not seeing it what I'm expecting.
can you see like when this is here? Can you see this upper part highlighted
Yes, I can see it.
in blue? All right. So let's expand this. If I expand this, so you can see that from the whole of the upper part that was highlighted before, now just the left hand side is highlighted when I click on this part of the code. Can you see that?
I see that one.
Okay, and for this one, the right hand side. So let us expand this one that highlights the left hand side of the code. So if I click on this one itself, can you see that this is for EPL? Can you see the EPL here? Can you see it? That this is for the EPL. Exactly. So this next one here is for La Liga. You can see the La Liga text and the La Liga link. The next one is for Bundesliga. The next one, so this is the list. So you need to have at least an idea of how HTML elements work for you to be able to successfully navigate all of this. But it's not really something that is overly important, because even without knowing them, once you start going through it, you'll be able to understand that okay, this is what this is doing. But based on just from the fact that each part of the code you click is highlighting what, so if I in this place now is highlighting the right hand side, if I click on this, I'll see that okay, this is an inner class and this is stuff. So if I click on this part here and I expand this, I'll see that okay, this is for the search, this is for the what, the home button, and this is for the what, this is for the link icon and stuff like that. So that is what the inspect tools do. So that is the element aspect of it. So the element aspect of it shows us every element that is on this web page that we can use. So that's the first thing. Yeah. Okay. So now let us click one of these EPL. So the first thing you have to take note of is the route. You can see that this is understats.com/league/EPL. The previous one was just understats.com. But understats.com does not, when we click on EPL, it adds what? This is a good one. When we click on EPL, it adds a what? It
Hello, sir.
adds
Hello, sir.
a, I can
Hello,
hear
sir.
you.
I'm trying to interrupt you again, sir. I got to explanation the other time. But now, what's our target, sir? What are we looking for so that I can know how to follow you, sir?
No,
What
no,
are we
no, no.
looking
We
for?
are still going to get. We are still going to get there. We are still going to get there. I'm just trying to show you how you can see what different aspects of a web page is showing.
That's
So
it.
when we start writing the Python code to scrape, is this scrap or scrape? Scrape, whatever the word is. When we start writing the Python code, sorry. Oh, okay. So when we start writing the Python code to actually start pulling out the data, you get an understanding of whatever it is I'm saying. Okay, let's just follow for now. So clicking on this EPL. So what I want to do actually is I want to get this data, this table that you can see here, this table here. I want to be able to get it inside my Collab notebook. That's basically what I want to do, and that's what we're going to be doing now. If we don't finish it, we have 2 live coding sessions. We probably might not finish it today. We'll get around to it tomorrow if we don't finish it today, but I think we should be able to. So what I want to do exactly is I want to get this table here, this table here. I want to be able to recreate this table, even if it's not recreate per se. I want to be able to get the data that is in this table and get it as a data set, as a pandas data frame, and then I can make visualizations with that data. You understand me? So it is not something that I can just say, okay, I want to come and paste. So if I try to do all of this now, and let's say, okay, I copy and paste this, for example. Let's come here and I put it in a string just to see how that will look like. So this is okay. I've copied and pasted this, but this is for 1 year. So if I try to go through that manual process, I have to do this for what? For all of these years, one by one. If I want to do it, let's say I want to get for 3 or 4 years. So that means I have to what? Let's say I want to get for 3 or 4 years. I also want to get for more than EPL. I want to get for EPL, La Liga, Bundesliga, and Serie A. So that means I have to go through a manual process of what? Copying this data here. Then even after pasting it here, I still have to format it in a way that it is understandable, which is a very manual process. And I'll not be doing it for those one. I'll be doing it for at least what? 5 or 6. So imagine that stress of going through that manually when you can use what? You can automate that process by scraping this website for that data. So what we are trying to do here is to automate the process that will go to this website, get every element in this website, and thus give us what? This part of the website that we want, which is this data. I don't know, is that understandable now? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get the logic.
Sorry?
I get it. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. So continuing, so as you can see now, the first thing I want us to take note of is this page. So you can see that for understood for EPL. So if I want to go to La Liga, if I just change this to La Liga, it also changes to what? League La Liga and a year. If I change this to Bundesliga, it changes to what? League Bundesliga and a year. Okay. So one thing has been established: to go to any year or to go to any league, all I just have to do is to just change this here. So if I come back here and change this to EPL and I press enter, this will take me to EPL. It's taking a time to load. But what we have established now is that to move to another league in this route, you just have to change one thing. You leave this part like this, and all you have to change is what? This stuff here. That's for the league. So if I want to go to Serie A, for example, or La Liga, I have to come here and say La Liga. So if I do this and I press place, so you can see that the La Liga is working as expected. Can you see this? La Liga worked as expected. So one thing we have established one thing now. In this website that I'm browsing, that I'm trying to scrap, to get to the page that will give us the data for another league, all I have to change is what? This third thing here. And that's the same thing for the year. To change this to, so let me go back to EPL because I'm starting with EPL. My best club is in the EPL, Manchester United. So so that's for the league. So if I do this now and do this again, so you see that okay, this is working for the EPL. Yes. So the EPL is also their base. So to do it for the year, so if I come here now and type 2018 and I press enter, you see that for this year it will load and bring the data set that corresponds to the year of 2018/2019. So okay, let me go down so that I'll be able to see it. So if I come back down here, you can see that this data here is corresponding where to 2018 to 2019. If I come here and change this to 2019 and I press enter, this data that will be here will change from 2018/2019. It will change to what? 2019/2020. So we have established one thing now. Based on these routes, if you want to change to another league, what do you have to change? You have to change this. If you want to change to another year, what do you have to change this? You have to change this here. That's the first thing. Okay, so now let us go to Python. So the most popular, I think it's actually the most popular, is the beautiful soup. That's beautiful soup for parsing. Why the most popular for getting a web page is requests.
Um, excuse me, sir.
Okay,
The beautiful soup. I mean, they couldn't get a better name. Like, why beautiful soup? Why the
the
name?
beautiful is because it's just like asking why pandas or asking why numpy.
No,
I don't know if
pandas
you get
makes
that.
sense. But beautiful soup.
Yeah,
It doesn't really.
No, now Beautiful Soup is the most popular library for web scraping. You understand? Okay, is it like Beautiful Soup as the name?
Yeah, like the name, yes. They couldn't get a
Oh,
better
oh,
name.
oh. That
I
that's
mean,
that's that that's no that's not on me. That's on the guys that created it. So they
Anyway,
they must
maybe
have
it should have
had
been
a
delicious
reason.
soup.
I get
Maybe it
it.
should have been delicious
I
soup.
don't know. They must have had a reason why. Okay, let's just go on a wild goose chase. Let's try to see why is it named Beautiful Soup. So let us see. It's named after the so-called tag soup, which refers to syntactically or structurally incorrect HTML written for a web page. Blah blah blah. So I think it's a common thing for them in the web. You get the web development aspect. So I think they have something. So the guys that created it, I don't know. I've never really thought of the name before. So the guys that
Right.
created it to have they will have their reason. So that's on them.
Yeah,
We
actually.
just have to use what they gave us.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. No problem. So the first one that will be the first library that will be important is the request library. And the request library is one of the most popular library for making requests to web page. For guys in web development, like request is the basis of web development in Python. So for web scraping, because we are trying to access to a website, so we are going to be needing it what also. Okay, so that's why the first thing we're going to be importing is requests. So after importing requests, then we are going to be importing what beautiful soup, ful soup. Soup is a nice thing. At least we have different soups in Nigeria. So so import beautiful soup from BS4. I think that should be the name. That's the name for importing the module. So let this connect and then let us see. We're going to work with request first and then we're going to go to beautiful soup next. So well, while we are waiting for that, so you can see now. So now we have established that for the route now for the links. So let's go for the table. So let us try to access what part of this is in charge of what is in charge of the table. Okay. So let me see. So okay, this has been highlighted. So this has shown that okay, we are inside. This is where this is. So let's go into this div. So this is the
Sorry,
header.
excuse me. Is
Okay,
it B54
it's
from
B5.
B54?
No, it's BS. I wrote BS, but I don't even think that's the name. Let me just confirm.
Okay.
If it is B, okay, it's BS4. It's actually BS4. I'm the one that made a mistake. That's the wrong syntax. It is from BS4. Import beautiful soup. So it is BS4. Let me see. I have a spelling error. So I cannot spell beautiful. What's this? Okay, I think this should be correct now. So exactly. So this has imported
So the
was it
S in soup is capital S, right?
yes, the S in soup is capital.
What is
Okay.
BS
The
soup stand
BS4 is
for?
the name BS4 is the name of the module. You understand? So it will not be nice for them to skip saying that anytime you want to import beautiful soup, you skip typing beautiful soup every time. So they shorten the name of the module to BS4, but that's what it is called BS4 beautiful soup. So if you come here now and say beautiful soup package, so UP package for NumPy, sorry for Python. So if you go to Python programming stuff, so when you want to install it, you install pip install beautiful soup for, but anytime you want to import it, you import it with the short one, which is BS4. So that's how the guys that created it, that's how they shortened it. So we know how to keep typing beautiful soup for every time you want to keep importing the anytime you want to keep importing the package. Okay, that has imported correctly. So now let us go back to this page. So we were here. So we know that this is the div that is showing this space. Okay, so this is the header. So if we go into this header, this is the header wrapper. So if you come here, the custom select. So you can see that for the custom select, this is also showing select league name, blah blah blah. And if you try to, so you can see this is the class that selects it. So you can see that this is the EPL. So this is the one that was selected that is showing. And if you come here to the custom select, navigation main, custom select. So I want to show the one that will show us all of the names. Exactly. So you can see. So we have EPL, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A. So all of these are things that we have known just before now. Okay, so let's go back to our web scraping. So before we go there, let's do something. Request that we just imported dot get. Let us get this URL. So let me come here and pick understart.com. Okay, but it has to be in the full format. With this, make it exactly. So this is understart.com. So if I run this code, you should see a response that will say 200. So when you use request, if you go to the request module, it's explained there. So the request module is what we use to get a website. So you need to pass in a valid URL. If you pass in a URL that is not valid, it will give you an error or something that is undefined. If I take this away now and run this, you see that it will probably give me, you see, because there has to be like a URL in it. So if I give it this URL that is wrong, for example, let me put S to this com and run this code, you see that it is saying that this is not going through. Why? Because there's no URL there. Like this is a URL, so you need to give it a URL that can be accessible on the web for it to work for you. So you can see that this URL is going as expected. So this 200, but if I put A here, for example, and I do control and enter. So you can see it's giving me a 404 response. What's a 404 response? It's saying that this route that I'm trying to define is
Not
not what
found.
is not found. Thank you very much. So if I try to bring this here and remove this, okay, and I run this, so I'll see the 404 error on this page also. That'll tell me that this route is not what's found. Okay, this one is going to take a while exactly. So this 404 error that is telling you that this page you're looking for is not found. So let us take away this here and run this. So this is working as expected here. So let us do something. Let's get the test. Let me call this response. Okay. So now let's run this, and then from the response, let's get the text. You can see that this text is what we had when we did what when we this text is what we had when we check the page. If we go back to the understart page, let's go to this understart page, for example. Okay, and let us inspect the page. Okay, so you can see that it has a head href_understart.com title xg. If we go back to our
Please,
sorry,
where's the understart page coming from, sir? Is it part of the
is the
URL or is it?
URL. Yeah, it's just the URL understart.com. Understart page means understart.com, like just the URL, the web page is what I mean.
That's the main.
Yes, this is the home page for when you go to understart.com. Immediately you go to understart.com, this is the home page. So I'm just trying to show you that what we have on this home page for understart.com when you view the source is the same thing we have when we use request.get and check the text that is there. If you get what I'm trying to say. So for example, you can see this says doc type HTML href understart.com. For example, see this part XG for teams and players from top European leagues.
No,
If you go
the
here,
whole website
yes,
database,
yes, the whole website. No, for this page, for this particular page. So you
homepage.
can, yes, the whole page. What I'm saying is this
Yeah,
here,
the HTML code for the page.
yes, the HTML code for that page. So this page, for example, this is understar.com. So when I check the source of the page, view page source. So this is the HTML code for this page. This is everything, the HTML code for this page. So this HTML code for this page is what we have here in this response.txt. So does that make sense now?
Why can't you just copy it from the source code directly?
If you copy directly from the source code, it's still manual. You get, and you can lose some things because of encoding. What we want is an automated process where we don't have to come here and copy. Just as I said when we started, instead of doing this, we can just come here and copy everything on this table and then probably try to put it in a data frame and work on it. But it will be a manual process, and it is not scalable. It is not something that you can make large. Imagine you are trying to work on a project that will require lots of data. Let's say like 1,000 of these tables. We cannot start saying we'll come here for each of those 1,000 tables or each of those 1,000 pages. We'll start doing a copy and paste manually. There can be issues, there can be error. But with this request, we are sure that whatever request is giving us is going to be the updated form of what is on that web page. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get it. Thanks.
All right, no problem. So this is the web page. So for example, just to confirm, you can see that the HTML code, this is XG stats. XG is expected goals for people that don't like football. So this is the expected goal stats for teams and players from top European league. So if you come back to this source, you can see expected goal stats for teams and players from top European leagues. If you come here too, you can see this expected goals is the new evolution, blah blah blah. Okay, that's in the body and stuff. So in this part, so that's the title. Exactly, that's the title. So exactly, this is where the title is. So you can see the title, expected goal stats for teams. So this is the title, expected goal start from teams and players from top European league. So this request module, what request does is that it's able to get you what the response of any web page at all, as long as it's a web page that has can be gotten on with a browser. Request can help you get that response, and you can get the response. But as you said, this will cause an issue because we cannot work with this. Number one, see how jumbled up it is. It's not even semantically correct. You don't even know what to start doing with this. You understand? So that's what beautiful soup comes that's where it comes in play for us, because beautiful soup is a way to take all of this text and then convert it to the HTML structure that it is meant to be. I don't know if you grab that. So instead of working with, because if you check this, the type of this is a string. You can see this is a string. So it is not scalable, it is a string. We don't know. Python does not understand what all of this is. So the guys that worked on Beautiful Soup, they worked on that module so that it will help us be able to consolidate this text. And since we know what HTML tags are, so it converts this raw Python text that request gives you from that web page and converts it into HTML tag, where you can now start searching through the HTML tag to get the specific tag that you want to extract your data. I don't know if that makes sense. So so this response we have done with that, we have gotten that already. So the next thing we need to do now is to get the soup. So this is the soup, and the soup is what? Beautiful soup. This is beautiful soup, and what we'll be providing to it is the text from the response. Let me just confirm because I think we also use contents. So let me just confirm if it's so let me say resp
Um,
dot.
okay.
I can hear you.
So I thought the BS4 is like the alias of the beautiful soup. Can we give it an
Yes,
alias?
yes, you can, but it's just like beautiful soup is the class we are importing from BS4
Okay. So can we
based
give
on
it
this.
an alias
Yes,
instead
if
of
I
calling
say
it
this now
as
for us, I
okay?
cannot use BS4 again because BS4 is the name of the model. You get that can spoil things, but
I get
I can do something like
as BS.
BS exactly. So if I come here now, so if I run this as BS, okay. So instead of you can see now that beautiful soup is not defined, but if I come here and use BS, this will work as expected. This is defined BS, so you can give it an alias. Yes, it works that way.
Okay, thank you.
So we can either use contents or text. If you use content, the only difference between content and text is that content will give you the binary format. So you can see that there's a B in front of this string. So content will give you the binary format. That is the raw format of the HTML text. Meanwhile, um, the text will give you what? That binary format converted to what? Converted to string. So for more accuracy, it is preferred to use the binary format. That's content, because when you use content, you ensure that you are not missing some things by mistake. Because when you use text, when string gets to a part of the binary format that it cannot understand, to just try to prove it out with anything randomly, to encode it with UTF-8 and to give it a random definition that it is not actually what it means. So it is good to use content rather than text when you are trying to work with Beautiful Soup. So when you're working with Beautiful Soup, after providing the content of the web page, you also need to provide the web parser that you will use, the parser. So just to understand this, let's go to the Beautiful Soup documentation. Documentation. Okay. So let us come into this. Read the docs for Beautiful Soup. So we go into the documentations overview, blah blah blah, view the docs. Exactly. So this is the Beautiful Soup. So if you say a quick start, you can see this is an HTML documentation. And then from BS4, when you import Beautiful Soup, you need to create the soup. So the soup is the class, that's the Beautiful Soup class. You give it the what? The format of the HTML document. So because we are getting out from the request, we are providing the HTML document, which is a what? A response from the request. And then you need to provide the what? The parser. So this parser is what converts your HTML into a what? Into an HTML format with all of its tags and all, and it will still be understandable by what? By Python. Because when you convert it into this tag, you can now start working with it that is as if it's an actual HTML file. Because if you read for example, if you read this HTML doc into Python, it will read this as a string, no matter what it is. Because HTML will try to see this as Python will try to see it as a string. But when you use Beautiful Soup to parse it, then it becomes what? More than just a string. It becomes HTML that you can work with. So this is Beautiful Soup. Problems at times it doesn't a parser. So we have different parsers. So it comes with a different parser. This is the default parser. This is HTML.parser. You understand? So this is the default parser that comes with it. I think this one too is also, I don't know if this one is default, but you can install. So I think LXML is not default. You have to install them. But if you are using HTML.parser, and most times you actually don't need another one, HTML.parser is good enough. It's just when you want more functionality. For example, you can see that this is very fast compared to this. Sorry, I can hear you.
Which format is LXML, sir?
LXML is a name. The name for the link is understats.com. Someone asked on YouTube. So LXML is just is the name that the creators of that parser, that's what they decided to call it. So let me see it. This is the LXML parser. So this is something that was also created by somebody. Let us see, probably without the full name. Okay, it doesn't have the full name. Just LXML is probably going to be called latex. So the L might just be something from the creator, we don't know. But what we know is that they called it LXML, and LXML is also a parser that is supported by Beautiful Soup. So we don't know why they named it LXML, but it is just another parser that can work just the same way as what HTML parser. So probably when the guys that created Beautiful Soup created this using the normal parser, some guys were working with it and they relied on Beautiful Soup a lot. They were not like, okay, we can make this faster. So if we're going to make this faster, why can't we just create another parser that will work what's better than the previous one? So in this, XML is actually called X markup language. So because XML, that's what HTML, you see, HTML is hypertext markup language. XML, I think, is extra or something, XML, but the ML there means markup language. So LMXL is probably just them trying to stay to the convention and just giving it a name. But we don't really know about the name, but what we know is that LXML is another parser that can work just the same way as HTML.parser can work. So I hope that's okay.
Yes,
All
sir, it's
right.
fine.
So going back here, so as what I want to show is that, so after you call the Beautiful Soup class, after you provide the HTML markup, you need to provide the parser that you're going to use. So we'll be using the default parser because to use LXML, you have to like import stuff. You have to install it. So HTML.parser. So let's run this. Oh, okay, I forgot an n. So let me run this. So let me take away this variable stuff. Okay, this htr is html dot parser, Ctrl Z and enter. So you can see now that now instead of showing the way it was showing before, that it was showing as a mumble of strings slash n and all of this kind of stuff, you can see now that this is looking like as if it's what is from a web page. Do you understand? So this is looking like as if it's from a web page. So this is what Beautiful Soup has done. So you can see that this is basically what we're looking at, what in that other page here. If you go to understar.com, it's never too much to go there. So if we go to understar.com and we see the source, Control U. So let's view the source, Control U. You see that what we have here is basically what we are what is basically what we are going to be having on this other page, something like this. So you can see this is just taking a while, but that's what Beautiful Soup has done. So what we have done now is we have used the request module to get the content of a website, and we have passed the content of that website to the Beautiful Soup what module, and the Beautiful Soup has helped us convert it from a normal string to the what an HTML text that we can now start working on. So let us call that soup. But if you remember correctly, we're not actually dealing with the what, we're not dealing with the home page. We're not dealing with the home page of this we're not dealing with the home page of this website. What we're actually working with is we want to get data for each what for that website for each of those years. So if you remember correctly, as I said, what we just have to do for to get, so if, for example, if I click on La Liga, what I just have to do is to change this. For example, now if you view this source, so you can see that this source, for example, see this, for example, so this source is basically what we have here. Let me run this again. This source here, where we have this href li something, if I come here, you can see that this is basically what we have here also. Around here, you can see it href epl blah 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 and all those kind of stuff. So that's what is done. But as I was saying, we don't actually want the home page of understart.com. What we need is what a league and the EPL. So if you remember correctly, I said that what we need. So if I add league here, if I do a Control C for this place, and I come back here, so instead of this, I'll now add what league. So now instead of doing it that way, let me just come here to do something. So since based on what we said from the beginning, so we know that the URL is going to be this, yes. Control C, Control V. So that's the URL. We know that we have what leagues. And the leagues, based on what we have, are what EPL, number one. We have La Liga. So you have to be careful of spelling to ensure that your spelling is correct. If not, it will give you a 404 error. So we have the La Liga. We have, let me go back here and pick all of them once again. So we have Syria. So imagine, you see, this is even a manual process, but imagine having to do this for every one of them. But this is you starting the scope. So when we pick Syria, and let me add the last one, Bundesliga. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it will not be nice for me to not have League One, because for football fans, we know that we have top 5 leagues in Europe, and they have to be 5. So the fifth one will
Excuse
put
me,
those
sir.
top 5. Sorry, I can
I'm
hear you.
finding I'm finding it hard to view or to see the codes you're writing. Is there a way you
The
can zoom
code
it
I'm writing.
a little
Okay,
bit?
let me try to increase this page. How about now? Is it better?
Yes, it's better. So the league, the understart.com/league is a page on that particular website, right?
Yes, just like we said in the beginning. For example, if you come here, you can see it here on start.com/league. So this is it here. So we know that to change to any league, all you just have to do is to change this from. So if I change this to EPL, so this will take me from League One
Yeah,
League
I
One
do
was
get
there
that
currently.
one. The thing is, I I wanted to view the page with the leak, just the leak there, and then it's telling me that 404 not found.
Yes,
So
it will
is
be
it
a
because
404 error because yes, it will be a
okay,
404 error because they
there is
don't
no
expect
case
you
like
to
that.
use just the league.
Okay,
You
okay,
understand?
okay. That's why we're writing
So
the code to
yes, that's what we're going to be in. So the reason why it is
get
working
it.
here is because this is they will automatically redirect you to where it is you are meant to go. Okay, you can even see that league is not
Yeah, it's
working. So
not.
they don't have a
That's
route of league only. So that's why there's a 404 error. They expect that after the league, you have to include the what the name of the league that you want to access. So when you include the
all right.
name of the league you want to access, then it will take you where you are meant to be.
Okay, because I thought it's from my
Okay.
side. Thank you.
Oh no, it's not from you. All right, so that's that for this aspect here.
Right. So
So
since it's like that, sir, since the URL is not a link to a page, so is it now also proper to make it a variable URL?
sorry.
Since the link is not leading us to a valid page and it's
No,
expected
no,
to
you,
have
I'm still going to combine. That's why you can see I'm writing something called leagues. So I will combine. It's because we want to do an automated process for loop. So I don't want when you are scraping, you don't really like to type in things. You want to have one function that can get you all your data. But before you do that, you have to work on it incrementally. You get you work for it for one. Once it works on one, then you duplicate it for the others. So what I'm doing now is I'm laying the ground rule to be able to duplicate it for different leagues. So that's why I'm creating this list, and you will see the way I will get the routes
doesn't
now.
have to be in the order it's listed. I can see that we didn't follow that order.
No, no, it doesn't have to be in. No, no, no. We are following this order for this website.
No, I mean the
But
list.
no, 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 it doesn't have to be in any order. It doesn't have to be because it doesn't necessarily have to be in the order because you might not even use all of these leagues. You might decide that you don't want all the leagues. You might decide that you want those two leagues instead of three.
Order left out anyway. RFPL.
Exactly. Okay, so I think those are the different leagues that we have, and then so let's go for the years that we want to get. So for the years, let me not take too much. So I'm going to go from 2019, 2020, and 2021. 2021. Okay, so these are these values. All of these are values. So now, instead of getting this, to be able to make it variable. So what I'm going to now be getting is I'm going to be getting URL plus I want to start with EPL. So let me get the first thing from leagues 0 plus the first year, which is years what? Year 0. Okay. So but there need to be a forward slash here. Okay, backward. Then plus. So for you to see what I just did now, let me pick all of this here and let me print it under here. So can you see what I just did? So I just picked the URL and selected one of the leagues, league 0. I added a what? A forward slash, and then I selected any of the years. So if I click on this link, I'm expecting this to take me to the understart page to the EPL of the year 2019. Does that make sense? So as you can
No.
see,
Okay, let's get back to the code and see if it makes sense.
so this is the code here. So what I've done is I know that this will always be the URL to get to any league. All I just have to do to change a league is to change after this league. I just need to add the specific league that I want to go to. So for this league, I'm selecting the EPL. What is EPL? EPL is the first element in this list. That is league 0. Okay. I know that after specifying the league based on this route, you need to provide a what? A forward slash. So that's why all of these are strings. So I'm going to add a forward slash. Then after providing the forward slash, then I'm going to select the year that I want. So I'm selecting the year 2019. I'm just concatenating all of this as a string and then I'm printing it out. So if I print this out, control and enter. So after printing this out, you see that this is going to give us the valid route for what? For any league. So this for EPL. So if I want to change this from EPL, so let's say you see the difference now. I don't have to type. So if I want to change to La Liga, all I just have to do is to change from 0 to 1. If I change from 0 to 1 and I press enter, you see that this has changed to what? La Liga. But this is actually an issue because this does not know, the printing out is splitting this stuff. But if I copy all of this and I come here after copying all of this and I paste it on the link, take me to La Liga directly. You can see that this has taken me to La Liga for the year 2019. So that's what this is doing. So instead of having to type in
Um,
each,
But sir,
is
would
that a
that not
square bracket?
crash the automation?
sorry,
That error not crash the automation? You can see that it introduced
no,
a.
it won't. This printing is just because of prints. It will not cause the automation. If I do this and I press enter, so you see that here they are not split, but this is a string. So if I just copy this and come here and paste this is going to work as expected. So that error is because it's due to print. Or if I come here now, for example, and I say print raw, and I say print raw, oh, I don't think that will work if it was the string, it was string. But the reason why that's giving that issue is because when you use print, you are taking away the quotes. So it's printing out all of this, including the space, but it will not catch the automation. Okay, Zenob, I think you were trying to ask something earlier.
Okay, yes. I'm trying to print mine. It's telling me unsupported operand type S
For
for
okay,
plus some.
how are you making all of this? Are you sure your years are also strings?
Yes, they are strings.
They are strings. All right, so let me try to give you access to share your screen so we can see why
Mm-hmm.
you have that issue. Okay, so I'll stop sharing. This is almost 1:30. Hey, we have not even gone anywhere. Wonderful.
Ah,
Because I expected us to finish this, so it's almost
oh,
1:30. Probably do 30 minutes extra. I'll try to speed up a bit, but let me make you
okay.
the code so you can share yours. Okay, so you should be able to share now.
Okay. From my side. Okay, share screen.
Can
Mm,
you?
okay,
It's
I'm trying
not.
to. Yes, I don't want to share the whole screen. I want to share the tab I'm using. Okay, it's here.
All right.
Screen here. All right.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay,
Print
so here is the code.
URL plus leaks 0 plus unsupported
I don't
operand
even know why
type.
this one is green. It's supposed to be green.
Which one is that?
The square brackets for the years.
Um, Maybe that's why. Let me see the ending of the leagues.
Okay.
Just go to the right. Okay, yes, that should be correct. The reason why it's green is because you are highlighted on it. You get. So if you take your mouse, your cursor away
Okay.
from
Okay.
that
Yeah, I get
area.
it.
So this is URL plus leagues
So
0 plus.
the
Oh,
slash
I
should
see.
be
That's the issue. So URL
so
should not be request.get. Your URL should be just the URL as a string. You get, because we are going to
okay.
call, exactly. We are going to call request.get on the full URL after you add them together.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Remove them from
It
the
should
tuple.
work.
It's in the
Yeah,
tuple.
it's working.
Exactly. But you can remove that from the URL, remove it from that bracket. You don't really need the brackets, just
This
in
one?
case.
Which
The
bracket?
URL, like there are brackets in front of it.
Okay, I don't need the bracket.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, yes. Don't need the brackets. All
Okay.
right, so you can stop sharing now.
All right. Thank you. Let me do that. You stop sharing.
Okay,
It has stopped,
so
right?
yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so moving on. So that's the link. So what I'm just trying to do is we are trying to make sure that, so we know that with this now, so we can get for any league for any year just by getting us to what, use the correct combination of URLs that we want. Okay, so I'm just going to take out this print and then leave this. So this will be 0 for EPL. So this is this link. So now what I just have to do, so instead of, okay, I can put this in a, let me call this final URL. So since this is called final URL, then that means it's already variabilized. So since it's variabilized, if I run this now, so all I just have to say is say request does get final URL. If I get the final URL, I should have a what? A 200 response. So let me just confirm that that has worked successfully. And you can see that this is what, a 200. So let's print out final URL and let's go there.
Now, what does the 200 code represent?
200 means success. It is the web code for success. If it's 404, it's an error code for not found. If it's 403, it's a convention for web browser. You don't have to stay true to it. I've worked on a backend project before and I used 404 for not, sorry, I used 400 for not found. So the creators of the websites can give you whatever code it is they want. So what request is just doing is request to make a request to that API call and just give you whatever the backend says it should give you. So these guys are using 200 to denote a successful response. That's what 200 means. That's the response code. Okay, so now let's go to this link. Okay, so on this page, we can see that this is for the year what? For the year 2019. So now we have to use the inspect tool again. So let me open up the inspect tool. Okay, so let me close this out. So let me open up the inspect tool. So in this inspect, what I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this table in this load of data here. So since I'm looking for this table, so now let us start going through again. We know it's going to be in the body, okay, and it is in this div wrapper. So inside this div wrapper, so all of this is in charge of this. We have not seen the one that is actually, so this is actually a page wrapper. This shows that is in charge of this page. But just to confirm, let us go through every other one and see if there's any other one that will highlight for this whole page. None. It's only for this div. So we know that this page wrapper, this div, because this is a div element and a div element has a class of page wrapper. So this div element contains all of the data for this page. So let us open it up and let us see each of them. So you can see this is in charge of this upper block and this is in charge of this lower block, and this one is in charge of the last block here, that is 40 players. So if I wanted players data, I'll be concerned with this block. If I wanted the data that was up here, I'll be concerned with this block. But what I'm confirmed is what is with this data, so I'm concerned with this block. So let me expand this block. So if I expand this block, I'm going to expand it so I can see that, okay, so this is the part in charge of this aspect of this block, yes, and this is the part that is in charge of what, of this data. So since this is the part that is in charge of this data, so I'm just going to keep expanding so I get what I want. So this part now is in charge of the settings. This part is in part of, so this is the table. So we have seen that, okay, firstly we have this table already. So this table, and this is what I need, this table. So this is this table. So let us see what is the body of this table. So it has a table row. So it has all of this table row, it has all of this table row, blah 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 blah, table D. But for all of this table D that it has, 102.1 exactly. So you can see all of this. So this is one way of getting this data. So if we wanted to go with this way now, all we just have to do is we are going to go through, if we, for example, if we come here now in this response and let's run this again, let's call this what it is meant to be called, soup. Okay, so if this is soup, let us go into soup, and inside the soup that we just created, let us find everything that is called table. SOUP dot find. So I'm going to find everything that is a what, that is a table. Okay, I see it is okay. No, no, no. First, I have to find the what the div. So if I find everything that is a div, so you can see these are all the different divs that we have. So you can see this is the div, vast player data, blah 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 blah. And in the div, if we go back to this web page, in this div, what was the class? The class was wrapper. There's a way that we should be able to specify the class for this data div. I think that will be here. So I can just say this wrapper. So you can see, so this is the div where the class is equals to wrapper. So you can see this is the div where the class is equals to wrapper. And for the div where the class is equals to wrapper, it has a lot of stuff. So this is the date data, the themes data. I'm trying to see if we can get that table role and all inside it, but it's not coming through. So now let us go back to this web page. So rather than using this method, so this is one method that we could have used to get all of this, the HTML parser. But now let us go to the console. Let's go to the exactly the network. Okay, so for this network, I want us to refresh this page. So exactly, so this is a list of all of the different things that are on this page. Okay, this is a list of everything. So
How
when
did
I
you
look
do
at,
that? Okay, network.
yes, network, I
The
switched to
inspect.
network from, exactly, in the inspect. So I switch to network, and these are the responses. So when you click on network, you see all of the responses that this thing is giving you. So what you want to look out for, yes, in this is that you want to, this is the 2019 document. So this is actually the document that is in charge of this is actually the document that is in charge of this what of this data that we have on this page. So this is actually the document that is in charge. This page. So if we click on this page, because all of these now are the styles, you get all of these are the styles, the pictures, all of these they are making to make it beautiful. But what we are concerned about is this data. So for this data here, let us go to the response and see what is. So this is the actual, this is the actual HTML file for this data itself. So in this data, this actual HTML file for this data, this one would not have all of those it will not have all of those table rows and table columns that we have. Why won't it have that? Because the guys that created this website, they could not start saying that for every time they want to, they could not start saying that every time they wanted to like every time they wanted to create a new page for a new year. For example, let's say they wanted to create a year for 2019. So imagine they had coded all of those table rows, table something, and all of those kind of stuff. You know how tedious it would have been for them to keep repeating that same process of copying and pasting, you know. So it is, so in every aspect of coding, the main issue, the main, I think the main essence is is what automation and making life easier. So for someone that is writing code, if you still have to do a lot of manual process in your code, then it is not as efficient as it should be. You understand? So when these guys created this page, so this is the actual HTML file that is on this page. So the HTML, the one that we're looking for when we look at the view source, that one is the one that has gone through, because there are a lot of JavaScript. You can see all of this JavaScript and stuff. All of these JavaScript have done processing on them to give it that format of table role and all of those kind of stuff. But this is the actual HTML file itself that we're working on. So it is this HTML file that Beautiful Soup is going to return to us. That response is going to return to us. See what I'm saying? If you come here now, for example, if I go to for this let me try to reopen this page. Okay, let me open it in another place. If I open this page here, if I open this page here and we look at the, we inspect the source of this page, let's view page source. If we view the page source, if you remember correctly, is it showing? Oh, okay. So this page source is showing what I want. It is showing the exact document, but I want us to see that one that we saw previously that showed to us all of those table rows and stuff. So I think that was under wrapper, and under the wrapper we had something called page wrapper. Under the page wrapper we had this block. So that was the middle block, and for the middle block we had content, and for this content we had so okay, no, I don't want this block. Okay, so for this one we had this block, and for this block you can see that we had table. So this table um this table had all of this table body. This table body contained the table row. This table row contained the table data. So if you see this table data, that's saying Liverpool. Okay, so this table data is saying Liverpool, is saying none of this kind of stuff. But if we go to the view page source, there's nothing like a table row or anything anywhere in this whole page. You can see, because if there was, it would have expanded it automatically. You can see that there's nothing like that. Even in that part where it said div class wrapper, you can see this is the page wrapper and this is the stuff. So after all this thing is not what is not so this is the team's data. So this is what it is. So what is happening is that this one we are seeing here, I've gone through a lot of processes to format it in this way. But the data we are having when we are working with Beautiful Soup is the data that have not gone through all of these processes. So, but one thing you should know, one thing that we are going to see now is that for these data sets, it is under where? Let us try to get it. So we know it is under wrapper, okay? And under the wrapper that it is under this what? Second block. Okay, this second block here. So let us try to go into this page source that we have and let us look for wrapper. So you can see exactly this is the block. So under the wrapper, so this is the div class preloader div blah 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 class block content. Exactly. So if you remember correctly, if you look at this place now, this is the first block here. If we go back to this page, you can see after all of this breadcrumb, we have the first class, which is what? Block. And under this block, this class block, it has what? Block content. That's number one. Then we have number two, block. It has block content also. Then we have number three. Let me close this. Then we have number three. So this is number three. It also has block content. So if you go back to this page source, so this is the first one, block one, it has block content. This is the second one, block two, it has block content. Okay, and this is the third one, block three. Exactly, this is the third one. That's scheme block, div class scheme block. So this is block one, block content. So this is the first one, class equals to block content. If we go up a little, we also see that we've seen another one. Okay, I saw the first one. Exactly, this is the second one, block content number two, and then there's the third one just below it, somewhere around there, that is also a block content also. This is it, number three. So what we just need to do is that, since we know that from inspecting this table, what block content are we required to access? We're required to access just the second one, because what we are concerned of is the what? Is the second one. So let's come here and see the second block content, which is this one here. This one here. Let me highlight it so that it will be easier for everyone to see. So this is it. So this is the second one. So in this second one now, this data set, the data that these guys are showing in this table, this is the line of code that is in charge of getting that data. You can see how long it is. So this data is actually in JSON format. So this data that is in JSON format, I'm tired, I won't highlight anymore. But what you see now is that this data that I just highlighted, this is the old data that we are seeing on that table. So what these guys did is that instead of them to have to keep repeating, writing all of this data, they have a JSON format that will pass into this function, which is a script. So I don't know if you guys had any experience with JavaScript or working on anything pertaining to web programming, but there's a way to embed JavaScript code inside your HTML code. So to embed your JavaScript code inside your HTML code, what you have to do is you have to use this tag called script. So after you use this tag called script, then you then write your code. So this code that this guy has written, have written, is a code that will use the JSON library for JavaScript to pass this JSON data that they have here. So it will pass the JSON data from a string into a JSON format. Then after changing it from JSON string to JSON format, they will now move it from what? They use another JavaScript. I don't know how to, I won't be able to look for that now because I don't have the full access. But they now use another JavaScript file to convert that JSON format into this table that we can see here. Is that understandable? Does that make sense? Before I continue.
Okay. We'll see.
All right. So if that's understandable, then so one thing you should know is that not all websites is going they are going to showcase their data the same way. Do you understand? So you need to be able to locate how that website is showcasing its data. Once you're able to navigate it, it might take some researching, it might be a while because it's mumbled up, it's large and stuff. But once you're able to get it and you're able to successfully do it from one scenario, then you can replicate it for any other scenario that you want. You understand? So that's why rather than just using the elements of the page, you also have to check the source. So if we are check the source and what we are seeing on the element of the page is the same thing as what we have on the source, then our approach to getting this data set would have been different. What would have had to start doing is would have had to start going through each of those table rows one by one. Then we'll search for each table row, get the data from each table row, and then put it in our own data frame. And like there's a method that you have to write a Python code that will be able to use Beautiful Soup to get all the table rows. After getting those table rows, then you take the values in those table rows and then add them to a list or maybe a dictionary and then convert that to a data frame. You get, there are many different ways you could have done that. But because from the original source, so that's why instead of looking at those elements, you have to go to the network and see everything that is being returned by that page for you to confirm. So when you want to scrap a data, when you are checking the elements of data, so you first view the source. So after you view the source of the data, then you compare it with what you have in the elements for that particular aspect of the data that you want. If they are the same, then you work with whatever you have on the elements. But if they're not the same, then you have to focus on the view source, because the source is the source of truth, the source code. That's the correct HTML file that they have on their own on their own database. So based on after noticing that, so just to recap on how I did that, so I'll come to network, I'll refresh this page because what is on the network gets lost immediately you leave there. So once you refresh the page, everything just loads, but the HTML file is always a document. It's always represented as a document compared to other things that are represented with something. The HTML file will be represented with a document, and that document will be a what? So when you click on the response, so this will give you what is in the body of that document. Just to confirm, if I come here and change this here to 2018, and I press enter, you see that this document has changed to 2018. But this document that is 2018, it still have the what? It still has the exact same format as the document of 2019. Why? Because they are passing in their data from a what? From a JSON. They are using a string, they are using JavaScript function to pass their data, so they don't have to rewrite the whole code again. They don't have to start saying table row for 2018 is this value. So they have automated that process, and that has saved them work. So again, if the code you have written cannot be as automated as possible, then you have to reevaluate how efficient that code is. So that's a lot of talking, but I hope that has been able to let us know it an understanding of how Beautiful Soup. So if we were actually working with a table and data, so immediately I did this find all to get the div that is a wrapper, I'll do another find all. Okay, so once I do another find all, so I'll find all. Okay, I think in the wrapper div we had something called a div, and in that div it is a block. And I'll do this. I think I'll provide block here. Oh, okay. So this is because this will return a list of elements. Let me get just the first one, and then try to find block. So you can see that this now has given me the block content. You can see that this is the date data. This is number one. Can you see? Just like we have number two. This is the second one. This is the team's data. And then the third one lines up with what I was saying in this page. So once I'm able to go over this page and understand what is happening on this page, then you'll be able to understand how well to work with the soup that you have created. So since we now know that they are using a JSON data, so we now have to do what? And I know that the JSON data that they are using is in what? Is in a script. So instead of having to go through is where I have to change different, go from wrapper down to block and stuff like that. I won't be doing that. What I'm just going to be doing is I'll be finding all the scripts in these documents. So if I do this and press enter, so you can see that now the first thing I'm having here is the days data. The second one is the what? The teams data. The third one is the what? The players data. Because the script is where all of this data are embedded. So immediately after the script, what this does is that when you say find or find all, what it does when you say find and you give it a tag, it will get the beginning of that tag and it will give you the what? The ending of that tag. So that's what this here has done. So it has given me the beginning of this script tag up to the end of this script tag. This one too has given me the beginning of this script tag to the end of this script tag. So because I'm using find all, it will return every one of them. But if I had used find, I think find will return the first one. So to just showcase that, let me use find. You see that find will return just the first one. But because I know that it is not the first one in that data set, so I'm using the find all so that it will give me every single one of what the script tag that is existing in this document. Is that okay? So after getting all of the script in that, then based on this now, I know that the script is the second one. What the data I need is the third thing. This is the first script one. This is the second script. Sorry, this is the first script. Open and close one. This is the second script. Open and close two. Then this is the third script. Open and close three. And this is what I need because I need the team data based on what we have seen. Just to showcase that again, based on what I've seen here, that it is in the third block, it is in the middle block that we have what? This table. And this table that I need is the team's data. It is even sensible because this here is talking about players. So if this is talking about players, then we know that players data is talking about this. And if this is talking about different teams, then teams data is talking about this. Okay. So I'm going to be getting the team's data from this. Exactly. So I'm going to be getting the team's data. I know that the team's data is what? Is the second thing. It's actually the third thing, but because we're indexing from 0 in Python, so this is 0, 1, 2. So just to confirm that if I do this, so you can see that this is the what? This is the team's data. So instead of doing this, so
Please, can you come again
okay. So
for the that
up
index
to which
two?
part? Do you
Well,
understand
actually,
it like this?
I got lost at where you used the find the you used
The
two
find
find
and
alls
the
in a
find all.
particular line. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we can
So
just use the find all and find.
what we are doing here,
I can't hear.
let me just explain. The difference between find all and find is that find will what? Return just the first instance of
Okay,
that
no,
tag.
I get that one. There was a time
Okay.
you used two of the find alls in a particular
Oh,
line.
oh, oh, oh,
I
oh,
tried
oh.
using it
That
and it's
was
giving me error.
that was me just trying to showcase that we don't actually need it. The reason why we don't
Okay.
need it is because of the way the data is structured. I'm saying that if the data had been structured the way we have it here, where there was a table row, if you remember correctly, where I was showing you that there's a table row, there's a table data, and all of those kind of stuff. So what we are trying is doing, we are trying to go layer by layer. What do I mean by layer by layer? Let me get this. Let me take away this now and get the find all. So this time I'm not looking for script, I'm looking for div and the div. So I'm looking for div, but I know the divs are a lot. So I'm trying to provide another what filter. So for every div that this will return, the class of that div has to be a wrapper. How did I get this? I got this from the idea that when we check the page, the div wrapper contained the data, the table data that I was looking for. Okay, so if you come
Okay.
here now, you can see that this div, the class is of class wrapper. So that's what
Yes.
this here is telling me, that okay, this has to be a class wrapper. So this div that this returns a list of every div that has a class wrapper.
Wrapper. Okay.
Okay, so what I want to do is, I know that since this is a list, I can select one of them now. You can see that
Okay.
this is also another data wrapper. So I'm going to select the first one in this data set, which is 0. So if I do this now, so this is now not a list anymore, but it is a div class with a wrapper, and you can see that the ending is also the closing of the div tag here. You can see that now. So
Okay. So we are saying
that
that it should bring back it should return the first div with
exactly
wrapper
the first instance of the
with
div
class
wrapper.
wrapper.
So instead of
Okay.
doing this, I can just have well as done find. So if I do find will give me the same thing, because find will return the first instance. So instead, so you get,
Okay.
so me using find all is because I know find all will return a list, and the find all list I have to access to get the first one. So that was the first thing. So since this is also a soup, this is also an HTML that contains different tags. I can look for another tag inside it again. You understand? So
Okay.
what was returned is a tag. So this tag, this div tag that was returned to me, I want to find another thing in it. So now I want to find, because the first div tag I said give me every div that has a class wrapper. So from the result of this one now, give me every div that has a class block. That's what this other one here is doing. You get? So if I run this, it's basically me just saying the same thing as okay, class wrapper divs underscore divs is equal to this. So if I say this is equal to wrapper divs and I run this, so you can see that that's the wrapper divs. So I'm now say wrapper divs dot find this, and this will also work as expected. So this now will find every div that has the class block inside the first wrapper divs that I found. So instead of me to do it in different lines, I'm just trying to combine them together. That's what that line of code there was doing. So is that understandable now?
Yeah, it is because I tried it and it's giving me error. That's why
All
I
right, no
asked.
problem. So, but since we know the way our data is structured is different from that way, so that's not the route we are going to be following. We are going to be following a different route where we'll be getting the what? The scripts. So now we are going to be getting all of the scripts in this what? In
So
that document.
is there an instance where this programmer store data without using
Yes,
script?
yes. That's what this data is. That's what I was trying to explain. That
Okay.
this is the data, this long piece of line, this long line here that you can see
Mhm.
that runs as if it runs forever. This is actually the data. This is actually the data. So this data is a string. So they are using a script to convert this data from this long string format into the JSON format. That's what this here is doing. Can you help me mute? So this is the JSON format. So this JSON here, so the reason why is because HTML does not know what JSON is. HTML is just a markup language. So it is JavaScript that has the functionality that can use what a JSON object, or that is able to understand that there can be something called a module that can convert what strings to JSON. So that's why they are embedding it in a script tag. So once you embed anything in a script tag, every other thing here from the browser is run with JavaScript. So JavaScript then uses the JSON module of JavaScript to convert this whole string here into a JSON format, and that's where the data is stored. So after this data set is converted to a JSON format, then they now use another string, or another, sorry, they use another JavaScript function. That one is not in this document, it will be somewhere else. But that JavaScript function is what is now responsible for converting that JSON format into a table that we are now seeing on this their web page. So it is that table that is being converted into that we are seeing in this element that is having the table row, the table D, and all of those kind of stuff.
Okay.
You
So
understand?
I can see like three different JSON
Yes, three
parts
different
here.
ones.
So
So
is it for three different data or for the
yes,
three
you can
different
see
tables?
if you go to the page, you can see that there's one here. This is the first one. So the first data is for showing the fixtures. That's the dates. Then the second one is for showing for the teams. That's the teams. Then the third one is for showing for the players. That's the players data.
Okay,
So the
that's
first one,
three different. Okay.
yes. The first one is the dates, different days of the week and the matches. This one is for the teams data, and then this one is for the players data.
So we want to scrape the players' data or everything.
No, no, we need the teams data. What I want is the
Okay, just the
teams.
teams.
Yes.
Okay, the
So,
first
and the
one.
reason why I was able to understand that that is how it is structured is because when I inspected the page, you understand, in this body, to just go through that part again, if I go through this body of inspecting this page, you can see under this body, if I go here, so I was trying to look for the one that will give me exactly what, that will highlight exactly this table that I need. So I was looking for it, and you can see that the part that highlighted this table is this wrapper. So once I opened this wrapper, that was how I was able to know that I'm meant to give a class called wrapper in the first instance. So once I
Okay.
expanded this, I started going downward to look for the one that will highlight specifically the words, that will highlight specifically that table. So once any tag I click on highlights a page, I have to expand that page because a blue highlight means that this covers this whole page. So I will
The whole.
expand this and then I keep going. So this block now, I can see that this block is showing for what? The top part, that's the date. Then the next block, the second block is showing for the what? For the team's data, which is exactly what I need. So I'm going to expand this and then I can see that this is under a block content. That was how I was able to know that it is the second one I will need. So when I went through this, I saw that okay, this here, so you can see this script. So this is the script that is running this. So I was able to see that okay, for this second block, the data that they are passing is actually the what? The team's data, and that is what I require.
All right.
All right, no problem. So now that I found out the script, so that we know that the team's data is the what? Is going to be the third thing in the list. So using Python indexing, that's index 2. So just to confirm that, you can see that this is the team's data. So
The teams are not
that's
the second.
sorry.
Not the second. The third.
No,
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 second.
it's actually
Yeah,
no,
it's supposed.
it is the second based on the block. But you know that there are other parts of the script there are other parts of the document that have used scripts before. You understand? So this is the first part of the document that use scripts. This one is saying local
Okay.
storage get item. So that has taken the position of number one here. So the next thing that use the script is now the dates data, which is the number one in that what? In that div block. So the number two thing in that div block, which is the second, has now moved towards number three. So that's why it is the third thing in this list. Do you understand that? Hello, are you guys with me?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So I hope you get why it is now the third thing in the data because Beautiful Soup is not looking at it just from that block only that it contains. Beautiful Soup is looking at the whole document. So for anywhere that there's a script in the whole document, that is what Beautiful Soup is going to return. So it could have been possible that in the old document there are even like 5 other places that use scripts even before that aspect. So that's why we have to use this. So since I've been able to pinpoint that what I need is the team's data, so I don't care wherever it comes up in this script. All I just have to look is I have to check which one corresponds to the team data, and based on this, it is the third one in this data. That's why I'm selecting the third one. Okay, so just to confirm, you can see that the team data, when I index it, is the third one in this data set, and that is it here. So let us call this data 158. Wonderful. Okay, so hopefully we're able to at least let it work for this EPL league. Then from the next live coding session, we'll try to do an automation that will work for everything. So that is the data now. So I have that data, but the data is not yet complete. Why? Let me print it out. Let me just say data. So the reason why, because in this data, you can see that there's this tag 1 and 2. I don't need this tag. I don't need this script tag. I don't need this script tag. What I actually need is what? The string beginning from here to the end of this data, which is here. Oh, that's quite long. But let's get to the end just to see what I'm saying. What I need is this what from this from this colon we have here, is that a colon or apostrophe? I don't know. Okay, sorry, from this single quote, exactly. From this single quote that we have here, up to the what? The beginning single quotes that we have here. That's what I need. So what do I need to do now? I need to start what? Indexing till I get to the point where I have what? The particular string that I need. Is that okay? And to do that, what I need to do is I need to first convert data into a string. So data is equals to, because if I check the type of data, for example, if I check the type here, you'll see that it is not yet a string. It is still what? In beautiful soup format. You can see that it's still what? A beautiful soup element tag. This is the script tag. So what I need to do is now is I need to reset data. Data is equal to string data. So if data is now a string, now I can start indexing and accessing the specific elements of the data that I need. So to do this, so let us print out data again. Let us see what data is again, and let us see how well we can do it. So let us try to count what script is. So at least we need to count to get up to this apostrophe. Sorry, up to this single quote, this single quote here. So this is 1, 2, 3. There's a way to do it automatically. You can just like keep going, but at least just to be sure. Okay, let us scrap that. Let's start like this. So let us say we want to index Abi. Let's start from index 15. You can see that it is not starting from script again. At least we have gotten to a few points. So let us increase it a little. Let's go up to 20. Now that I've gone up to 20, at least this is now easily countable. We can now count what we need from year to year. We know that what we need from year to year, this is still even looking like it can go up to 30 or something. Let's try to go up to 30 and say, let's see. So after going up to 30, this is what we have. You can see we now have a bracket, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this has to get up to 37. So do you understand what I'm trying to do now? So this has to get up to 37, and when this gets up to 37, we're able to what? We're able to get, sorry, we're able to get what I need, which is just the what? This part. But then we also have to go to the end also. So we are not going from beginning to the end. We want from 37. So let's try to get to the end of this page. So if we go to the end of
But
this
there
page,
we have a double quote and a single quote. So which one are we supposed to start from? Is
no,
it
it's the
double quote?
single quote. I will show you. That one is actually the string. I'll show you. I'll
Okay,
show
it
you
came
that.
out with okay.
Yes, it comes out because it's coming out as a string.
As a string. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so let us count this backward. So this is script 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, this is 10, this is 11, this is 12. Okay, so we need to get up to like minus 12. So to do that, let us come here and do minus 12, and let's see what we have. So you can see that if we go to the end, so this times 7d, and that's the end, that's the last thing. So to show you what you were saying, if I put this inside a print statement, if I put it inside a print statement and I print this, you see that the first string will not show. Can you see that the first string is not coming up? Sorry, the first single quote is not coming up. So the reason why that was showing as double, and
Okay,
you
it
can
came
see
out
that
as
it's
a
only,
string.
yes.
Okay, I
So,
get it. I
so
get it.
exactly. So now this is what we need. So this is our data. This is the actual data that is in charge of the data set. So before we continue, we need to import the JSON because we also need JSON to work with it. So let us import JSON. Let's import the JSON module. So the JSON module has been imported, but there's still one tiny bit of issue because this data set now is in a raw string format. For us to work with this JSON module, it expects it to be in a certain type of encoding. So after a little bit of research, this was done, of course, I can't really stop that now. But anytime you can do this for any data that you want, you can use this as your de facto standard. That anytime you have a long string data set and you want to convert that string, probably you have an idea somewhere, or you have been told by the creators of that string that that string can be converted to a JSON table. You have to what? You have to first convert the encoding to UTF-8. After converting to UTF-8, then you need to decode it back. What do I mean? So if I say data.encode, all of these are text encoding, and I can't really get into all the details because I can't call myself an expert at it, but it is what is expected. So after we encode it into UTF-8, we then have to decode it back, and the decoding now is going to put a Unicode escape. So you can read more, but I won't really, it's not really something important, and it's not something you can put as de facto standard that, okay, anytime there's a string and this string has been, this string has an attribute of it to be convertible to a JSON format, then you encode it to UTF-8 and then decode it with the Unicode escape, and then you're good to go. So if I do this, okay, non-type object, sorry, because this is not meant to be any print. Okay, so now let's do this. Oh, I see. I had, okay, so I need to do this again. Data and data. So you can see now. So if I try to print out data, it doesn't do anything to the string. It is still the same string, but the what you can see, the string has now been what put. See, you see the format to which it has been put in now. So instead of it to be just the different strings, it has been what encoded and decoded. So the string contains some elements there that after decoding it with the Unicode escape, you can see the way it has now come out. So it is no more just any string. You see that it is now having sense. For example, you can see Aston Villa, you can see HA. If you go back to the page, you see that they had something here that they called XGA points and all of those kind of stuff. If you go back here, you can see this is the XDA, you can see MPXG. So now this data set is already making sense. Why? So with this now, we have successfully scraped this data from this website, but we're not yet done. So let me import pandas also. Import.
So it will come out as a script, right?
Yes, it is.
After
Pandas
we
are split.
encode and decode.
So yeah, I did not get that. It will come out
I
where?
said after we encode and decode, it will come out
Yes.
in a
After
script, right?
exactly, it will come after you encode and decode. This is the results of the encoding and decoding.
Can I see the beginning? I want to ensure that it's same with mine.
This is it.
Because I'm seeing script first of all. Okay, why am I seeing script?
Oh, you are saying scripted for so because you did not finish this indexing. Did you do this index as expected?
I finished.
Let me see. Let
Let
me
me check
just,
it again.
because if you are saying the script there,
Yeah,
script is
sorry,
trying to,
sorry. I did not
yeah, exactly,
I did not save
do
my
the indexing.
inside in the particular variable. So
All
let me do
right,
it right now.
no problem. So now you can see now that this is making sense. So we are almost done. This is the final lap. So what we now need to do, now that we have um, encoded and decoded this, is we now have to read it in as a JSON data. So what we are just going to do is to say loaded underscore data is equals to JSON. We imported JSON dot load. We are going to give it what data expecting value. So what's the issue here? JSON dot loads. So this is an issue with data. Let me see data. Oh, I see. So the issue here is that the reason why I'm having this issue is because of my indexing. So the indexing is not meant to contain those quotes that I left. So those quotes that I left. So this is meant to be 38, and this is meant to be minus 13. So if I do this now, oh okay, that's actually an issue. I have to start from the beginning. Let me make this encoded. my phone join. So let me see the encoded data now. So for this encoded data, you can see exactly now that forward slash and single quote that we had previously at the beginning is not there anymore, and for the end it is not there anymore. So if I try to load this data now, this data should load in as expected. Still saying there's an error. Oh, okay, sorry, this should be encoded data. Exactly. So this has loaded in as expected. So the encoded data. So what I did there is to ensure that, so it is not really a process that you get once immediately, but once you understand how the module you are working with works, then you'll be able to work with it. So if I do this now and say loaded data,
So the
you will now,
encoded data, is that like a method or something?
no, it's not a method, it's just a variable name. Just a
Okay,
variable
okay,
name.
okay.
So
You
that,
created a variable. Okay, you gave it
yes,
the
encoded data, and then
oh.
this. So that's just what that is. So you can see now that we have loaded the data in with JSON formats. Sorry, let me just. Okay, sorry for that. So, um, let me see. Is there any question on YouTube? All right, none. Okay, so moving back to where we were, you can see now that the data is now that I've loaded the data in JSON format, it is now what? It is now like a dictionary of sorts, and each dictionary has its own key and its own value. This is taking too much time. Let me use this. Okay. So you can see, if we go to the beginning now, you can see, for example, this is what? A key. The key is what? 71. Then the value is also a what? A dictionary on its own. And the dictionary has what? Something called, the first thing, title, Aston Villa. So we're already at the process where we're already getting this data. But at this moment now, we are not dealing with the website anymore. We are at this point where we have gotten the data sets from the website and it is now with us locally. So with this, we have successfully scraped this website for the data set that it has, and we have what been able to get this data set to our own local environment, and that is just for 1 year. So since we have this now, let me just take away this. Why is it too long? Oh, let me just take away this. So this is loaded data. So when you load in JSON, if you read up on the JSON documentation, what the JSON mode does is that it loads the data in JSON format into like dictionaries. So just to show you something, let us print out the dictionary
So,
keys.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, I'm with you.
When you imported the JSON, did you just say import JSON?
Yes, this is it. Import JSON.
Small letter G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still having an error. It's saying
Okay.
extra data, line 1, column 2,
Oh,
character 1
is
in
that when
bracket.
you are using JSON.load?
Yes, yes.
I see. Let you share your screen so to be easier to debug that way.
Okay.
You can try sharing your screen now.
All right, I'm doing that. Um, yeah, it's up.
Okay, so encoded data. So let me see the error. I can't really see the error. Can you scroll down a bit? Let me see the last thing. What's the last thing you're saying? Last extra data line 1. Okay, so let us go back to your something. Let's go back to that your encoded data. Let me see. Let me see where you exactly. So this 38 to minus 18 print encoded data. Okay, this should be working as expected. Okay. So can you go down? Dot loads. All right. Let me go back to where you printed out the data. Print out the data and let us go to the end. Okay, so you have printed it. You printed it out. So let's see the end. What is at the last thing there? So that's why that's I think this is why there's an issue. There should be a column here. There should be another there should be a bracket that shows that this is the end. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but you know this bracket that showcases that okay, this is the end of this encoded data. That bracket I can't see it there. I'm coming. Let me just try to confirm from my end. Exactly. So the bracket is not there. I don't know why that is not there though. So let us do this.
Is it
Let's
from the slicing?
sorry.
Could it be from the slicing?
Yes, definitely. That's where the issue is most likely coming from. So let's go and run it from the top. Run it from the part where you got the script and the second one.
Okay, I will leave the microphone. Um, script. Okay, here it is.
Exactly. So from that point,
Okay, so this is the data.
okay. No, like you should rerun the cell, rerun the cell.
Okay, from
So
here.
rerun that from that exactly cell 40, cell 83. Exactly, rerun that. Then
I did.
you can leave this, move to the next cell.
Okay. Here. Okay, I'll just check in the type.
Exactly. So
Then
you can leave
changing it
that.
to string, right?
Convert it to string.
I have
Exactly.
to convert it
So
to string.
yes,
I did that.
exactly. So you can leave this one. You can leave this one.
Mm, this is the
Just
one
move
that
to the
was
next
used.
part.
It's
Yes,
here.
just move to the parts exactly 38 to minus 13. Okay.
Should I run it?
Yes, yes, run
Yes,
it.
yes, run it. I did.
Then the next cell.
Next step. Run it.
Yes, run it.
Yes, run it. Now run
Then
this
let's see
again.
the
Then let's
encoded data. Yeah.
yeah.
So scroll
So
down to the end. So you can
okay.
see that it is complete now. So
Okay.
there's
What happened
most
the other
of
time?
so probably in the process of slicing, you would like slice, then we slice, so that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
I think I'm good
yeah,
right now. Okay.
yeah, you're
This is
good.
it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Let me
it.
stop sharing. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the encoded data, and you can see. So what the JSON does is when JSON loads data, it loads it into a string. So sorry, it loads it as a dictionary format where the key is there's a key and there's a value. So the value can also be a dictionary that will have its own key and have its own values, that kind of stuff. Because in Python you can link up multiple dictionaries together. So let us just first see all of the keys of the data set. You can see that these are the different keys. So to confirm this, if we check the length, it should be 20 because there are always 20 teams for a football season. And this is showing us what 20 teams for this football season. So that's 20. So this is as expected. Then let us do more exploration here. Let me just let this run through. So let me go through each of these keys. So for key in loaded underscore data dot keys, okay, let us print out um let us print out or no, instead of before even doing that, let us check out one of them. Loaded underscore data, then let us select 71. So I'm feeling this should be Aston Villa or something. 71 or so 71. Then let us see the keys. So for each of these keys here, their values are a dictionary. And for the values that are a dictionary, they also have what keys called what ID, title, and history. So let us go through each key in the dictionary, and then let us print out the title of each of them. So we'll say loaded underscore data, then key, then title.
Please, can we have it zoomed? Wait, wait.
Okay, let me try to increase that. Is this better now?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right, so let us run this, and if we run this, this will give us the name of every team that is in that data that we just opened. So you can see the first team is Aston Villa, the next one is Everton, the next one is Bournemouth, Southampton, blah blah blah, up to the last team. So these are the 20 teams that are existing in this data set. And if you go into this data set for the year 2019, you can see we have them: Liverpool, Man City, this is Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, Norwich. This data, it's arranged them ordered based on their points. So we'll get there also. So based on this, so we can see that these are all the teams. So instead of doing this way, let me create something, because we're going to need all of these teams later. Teams is equals to a list. So after creating a list for teams, I'm going to say that what append each team to that list. So let me just pick this, copy and paste. So these are the different teams, and it has been stored in a what? It has been stored in a list. So you don't actually need to stress yourself anymore. For example, just like for this 71, if I pick this loaded data 71, this is what? For loaded data 71, this is the result here. Let's try to get to the beginning. Exactly. So we have the what? We have the ID.
Hi, we cannot hear you.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So moving on. So for example, for this loaded data 71 now, this is the ID. We saw ID here. Then this is the title. We saw title. So title is actually a string also. And then we have history. So history this time is a list of different dictionaries. So what this list of dictionary does is that what this list of dictionary does is that the history shows the history they have against every other team in this data. If you get what I'm trying to say. So for example, this HA, this means home or away. So when they played this match, so this was their first match. This was their first match in this season. And when they played this match, they played their first match away from home. And these were the what attributes of that match for them. Then this was their second match. Their second match was played at home. And when they played this match, this was the attributes that they had for that match. So this goes on and on. And if I check this, because this is actually for the history. This is actually for history, Abby. So let me come here and say history. Okay, so this is for history. So if I check the length of this, it should be 20 also. Unless, sorry, no, it's not going to be 20. How many matches? I think it's 38 matches. So this should be 38 exactly. So this 38 matches, because they play home and away against every other 19 team in that same league, in that same table as them. So they play 38 matches in total. So this history shows that there are 38 matches, and they play these 38 matches against every other team. So that's what this history is doing. So to have what we have on this table, just to show you, okay, let us pick one of the history here. Yeah? Let's pick one of the history. That's a Control Z. Sorry, Control Z exactly. Control Z again, Control Z. So let's pick one of this history and put this in a pandas data frame. So pd dot data frame, and this. So you can see that this is now a data frame. And this data frame, what does it contain? It contains all of those data that we just saw in a what? A pretty tabular format. So for the first team, which is Aston Villa, they played their first match away. They had this so and so number of expected goal. They allowed so and so number of scores. They did this, they did that. Their second match, they played their second match at home, and they had 1.6 expected goals. They had all of these extra attributes. So this is basically everything for the what, for the data. So we're almost getting there. I want us to try and get the final data set. We have been here for 2 hours already. So I want us to try and get the final data set. After that, we'll end this for today, and then we'll work with the final data set in our next session and just try to do a little bit of visualization, because this is actually taking a time. So, but for your tag along project,
I think, do we have to go through all this process? Like this one now that we are appending, is it part of it?
you see why. You see why just now. You see why in just a minute. You see why in
Okay.
just a minute. Because
Just
I
need
have
to
to be
take
able
the
to I have to be able to recognize who this data is for. When I'm done creating the data set, you see that all it will have are this kind of numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. So I don't know which is for Aston Villa, I don't know which is for Everton, I don't know which is for Man City. So the fact that I've kept them in this pretty little list called teams will be able to make me just what, make it the index when I'm done. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay. But when I said teams dot append, it told me that teams is not defined.
You have to have defined this list here called teams.
Okay, teams. Okay, I saw somewhere that you
Yes.
define items. Okay, teams. Why am I seeing
Yes.
items here? Okay.
Maybe
All right.
exactly. So that's teams. So we're almost done. We're almost done. So what I just need to do now is I'm going to write a function, and the function I might not really explain it, but I'll try my best to explain it. But what this function is do is it will go through. It is going to use this. It's going to go through. It's going to go through everything. Or you're going to go through everything, and it's going to sum up all of this data, because you can see that this is just for one team. This all of this data that we have here, these 38 matches, is for just one team. So I want to what, sum up this data, so that, because if you come to this table here, you can see that what they're also giving us is what, a sum. That's the overall. So when you click for home, they give you the home data. When you click for away, they give you the away data. But this is the overall, the sum. So this number of matches they've played, this is the amount of wins they've had, this is the amount of draws, the amount of loss, blah blah blah, and all of this kind of stuff. So let's come here. So I'm going to say for k in loaded underscore data dot keys. Okay. So give me, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define a data frame. Final underscore df is equal to pd dot data frame. Okay. So for this now, I want you to give me the team data. Let's use their name, equal to pd dot load, sorry, pd dot data frame. Okay. So give me data frame that contains the loaded data of this particular team and the history. I hope you get. That's why I tried to show you this before I started. Okay, probably let me just bring this back up here so you can get what I'm trying to do. So this is this here. So it's going to do this. So this is not K, this is going to be 71. So when this is loaded, so you can see that this is the data. So if I do pd.data frame for this, so pd.data frame for this, so you can see that this is the data set that we have that contains all of the history for just this particular team. So in this now, I'm going to be taking through all of the data, that's the team data. So I'm going to be getting just the numerical ones, because we cannot sum up something like this that has strings and columns and stuff. So just for the case of this demonstration, so numerical D is going to be equal to the teams underscore data dot select underscore d
Okay, so
type.
you saved that for loop for the teams in this
Yes.
particular variable teams data.
No.
Where
This teams
where do
data,
you
this teams data is going to save this variable, which is this data frame for everything. So what this for loop will do is it will first go, this is going to be the first thing is 71. So it will go for 71. replace this k here with 71 and give us this. Do you understand? It is going to give us this. That's for the first team. So when it gives us this table for the first team, I'm going to sum it up and then I will append it to this data frame here. Ouch. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's what this team data. So what this team is just like me saying that, okay, for this team, make this equals to team's data. So that's basically what I'm doing there. So this line and this line, they are the same thing. So what I'm just doing that, instead of doing it for just a specific key, which is 71 here, I'm going to be repeating this for every key that exists in this data. Does that make sense? Okay. So team data. I hope you guys are with me though, because I didn't get a response to that.
Yes, like accurately.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Because you know,
So
so
this
cuánto.
team data dot select these types, and I'm going to say exclude everything that is not a number by excluding objects. So when I exclude this object, okay, let me try to take it step by step so you guys will see what I'm trying to do. So team underscore data here dot select underscore d type, then exclude is equals to objects. Okay, so you can see now that everything that is being returned there, all of these columns, they are numerical columns that can be what? That can be summed up together. You can see this is the expected goals. All of these are values that we can add up. So what I'm now trying to do is, to this data that I just selected, I want it to give me the sum. So you can see now that it has added up all the sum. So the expected goals throughout the whole team for number 71. What's number 71? Aston Villa. Let's check it on the data. SG should be 45 or something. So where's Aston Villa? So this Aston Villa, and you can see that the expected goals that they have is 45.09. You can see, so ours just approximated it, but this is what we have, 45.09. So you can see that we're already getting the data that they have on this on this platform. So let's go back there. So this is what I'm doing. So what I'm just trying to do is now that I don't want this to be in this format. I want to transpose it. So when I transpose it, before I transpose it though, I'm going to put it in a data frame. pg.data frame. So I'm going to transpose this. So now that I've transposed this, you see that because if I did not put this transpose, it will be created in this format. So this is the sum for Aston Villa. But because I know that I want to append what I want to have different teams come side by side. So I don't want it to be in this form. I don't want the teams to be on the head, to be as the column is. I want the teams to be as the rows, and then each of these values should be the what? The columns. So that's why I'm using this dot t to transpose it. So this is for Aston Villa. So I can just say that dot index is equals to a Villa. So if I want this now, you see that the index will be not a collection of kind, but you see this is what I'm going to do though. But this is for this data set. So this is everything that contains the history of Aston Villa summed up together into one. So that's what I want to do for every other team. So what this is just going to do is going to do this for Aston Villa, which is 71. Get all of this history data, perform this operation of summing up and putting it in a data frame, and then repeat the same process for, that's why I printed this out. So it's going to do it for 71, do it for 72, all up to what? 238. Is that okay?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't see the sum function in your block in the for loop.
Can't I?
I can't see the sum function. The dot sum is not in the for loop.
Oh no, I'm not done with the for loop. I was just trying to show you guys this first. I'm not done with the for loop. Okay, since you guys understand this, then let me continue with the for loop. So this data dot select the types dot exclude objects. So I'm just going to copy this for you because I'm in the mood. Control V dot T. Okay, so now since this is done, I'm now going to do something. So the final df is equal to pd dot concat. So this concatenation where you join multiple dfs together. So I'm going to be concatenating the final df and the what? The numerical d that I just created. Okay, they have to be in a list, and I'm going to be concatenating them by axis what is equal to 0. So if this works as I expect, hopefully, when it is done, it's going to give me a data set that contains the summed value for every team.
Your
Let me just,
numerical is not the same as
yes, I've seen that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to say final underscore df. So let's run this. So as you can see, voila. But then this is not working as I expected because these are on this row and not what I need. So let me rerun this and let me see why is my transpose not working. Okay, I've not done a sum. So this is teams dot sum. Okay, so as you can see now, so this is the sum of xg for this particular team. You can see the 0.9 blah 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 blah. Let me see if I can round this. Let me try to round it to 2. Exactly. So I've rounded it to 2 decimal places. So this is the final df. So for Zainab that was asking why I had to do something, so you can see now that final df dot index is equal to teams, then final underscore df. So you can see now, mistake, dot index. So as you can see now, so we have been successfully able to get this data from this what, from this team. So just to make it be exactly like this, let me just do something. Dot sort values. Oh, by is equal to, what do they call that? Was it PTS or something? Let me confirm. PTS sort by the points.
Is
Okay,
it not
let me remove this.
XPTS?
I think they have expected points and the actual points. So okay, so it's not in full cap like there are something.
Yeah,
It's
it's
in
PTS.
lowercase. Okay, so as you can see, okay, this is going descending. I want you to go by ascending. Okay, so here we are. So you can see if you go to this table, the first thing was Liverpool, that 99 points, that 33
Uh-huh.
goals. So you can see this is Liverpool, it had 99 points and all of this. It had 32 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, and voila, we have been able to successfully scrape this data from this website, and we have done the heavy lifting. This is basically um scrapping data. So the heavy lifting is getting the first part. So everything that we have done now, we have the codes already. If we come back tomorrow and just rerun all of these columns will run again and we have the same data. But imagine in a case where we had done a copy and paste, we might have finished earlier, yes, but it's possible that we would have lost all of this anywhere it is that we kept them or something. And but with this now, in our next live coding session, what we'll do is we'll now repeat this for different years and different leagues. So you see now that when we
Okay.
want to do it, when we want to do it for the next year, We won't have to redo all of this. What are we just going to do? We're just going to change the URL. We'll just come here. We want to do this for 2020. What are we just going to do? We're just going to change this from year 0 to year 1. We run our columns and we are good to go. If we want to do it for Serie A, what are we going to do? We're just going to change the leagues from League 0 to League 1, La Liga or something, and we are good to go. So what we're going to be doing in the next type coding session is we'll be consolidating all of this into a single function where we'll just provide the what, the year, the name of the league, and then we'll just get all of this data. So we'll try to do something probably where we can try to combine all of this data together. So we'll have a one data frame that will contain values of 2019, 2018, and what, 2020 together, and try to see some kind of linear visualization we can do. So
Sir,
with
I
that, we
hope
have come
you,
to the
sir, please, I
sorry,
hope you thank you very much for taking pains in this class. Please, can you
sorry.
help us? I said thank you for taking pains in this class.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Me personally, I will need the script, sir. Even though I know a, it's not a pre-scripted thing, but at least I will need the script, sir. Please.
Okay, this code, this source code.
No, I mean our codes in the class, the JPY file. I mean the PYMB file, IPYMB file.
The IPYMB file. Is it
Yeah,
this
your
one that I
he
use?
needs your file,
Fine.
your own, your code file.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. No problem. I'll share that to this. I'll share that to the Slack page.
And this thing is too much work. Oh. So
But
like
is the
That
heavy
one that
lifting you get?
was with no code. This one has combined the code of Segi and code together.
Exactly. So so when you're done with this, you won't be stressed out about you get. Imagine you see how easy it will be when we are trying to do it for different when we're trying to do it for different years and different stuff. So the issue there is just getting it for the first time. And once you're able to get it for the first time, it will be very, very easy going on. And then you have been able to oh Nina, I'm very sorry I missed this. So what I will advise you to do, and I don't know if you are still on YouTube, is I'll send the code to you and you have the video. So you can just the video is going to be on YouTube. So you can just come back any point, the point at which you got lost, get to that point, and then follow through with the code while you go to the video. So that's why we're recording the videos, because it might be tough to follow on at first, but when you try to practice it yourself, like not even try to run my code, just try to write your own code. You will not believe that when I was practicing yesterday, the method that I used to split the data is different from the method that I used in this live coding session. So when you are like the method I used to do the indexing, the slicing, and when I got the script, I did not even do the script by I did not get the whole string. What I did was I first split it by the new line. That's by the way though. I'm just trying to say that once you're able to even try to like run it yourself, type your own codes. It's better to like type your own codes and try to learn it. And when you're practicing, it will be easier for you to get the hang of it.
okay,
So
so I
no
have a
problem.
question.
Okay.
Do we have
So when you first
website?
started the class,
Yes, I can hear you.
okay, can I talk now? Because I was
Yes, you
interrupted.
can.
All right, so the first when you first started the class, you said that it took you a very long time to finally find a website that can be script, that the data can be script, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so are there ways that we can know, if a particular website data can be script or not, so that we don't waste a lot of time?
It's not really actual. It's there's no set way to know it actually. And the reason why I had that issue was not actually due to the fact that I couldn't send requests. It was due to the fact that most of them were not showcasing their data in a way that I could take it. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Even with this one, I had to go through a lot of reading to understand that they were using JSON to pass their data. You understand? So what I'm thinking, no promises, is probably before the end of this year, we'll try to get you guys websites that we know that can be scrapped. So you guys can
Yes,
probably
that will
try
help.
to use that you get for when you're working on your project. So we'll try
Yes.
to work on that. Try to work on that. But I
All
think
right.
I read something somewhere. For example, if you go to google.com and if you type after instead of typing a link, if you type robots.txt, I can't really if it's not correct then probably send it exactly. So if you go to any website and type this after the name of the website, it will let you know if it can be scrapped. So they will tell you the things they allow and things they do not allow. So it does not disallow slash search. You can see all of this stuff. But I think where you will see it is callers of exactly Twitter bots, ads bots, all of this stuff. But I think a site that will not allow you to call their website, they will let you know in this page. So if you go to this page, you see it where they will explicitly let you know the things that they don't allow. So if they don't allow their website to be scraped, they will let you know when you use this. It works for any website. I think it works for almost all of them. If you do think if you do facebook.com, just to confirm, might not work
We
for
can't see your
facebook.com.
screen.
Oh, sorry for that. Okay, I think it was a Microsoft Edge tab, or was it? Okay, so this is what I was trying to show you guys. If you go to google.com, for example, after you go to any website, you put a slash and put robots.txt and you press enter. So a website that does not allow you to scrape their website, that does not allow scraping, they'll put it in here in explicit terms. Like it will jump out at you. They can either say it by putting a text here or saying that we do not allow scrapping on our site or callers. You get they will use something like this to let you know that they have a throttling stuff on their website. If you get what I'm trying to say. So for any website you think that you want to scrap, they actually, and the issue comes from you knowing what you want to do. You get the idea. Okay, what data set do I want to present? Okay, what topic do I want to talk on? So once you're able to, because the reason why we left it because it will be streamlined and it's also going to be heavy on us also. So that's why I wanted you guys to, because it might not be in every situation where they'll tell you what you have to do. You have to be able to come up with your idea. Okay, I want to visualize on this. Okay, how do I get this data? I want to visualize on this. Okay, these are my three. Okay, I'm a man. I thought of football. A lady can think of fashion, or she can think of cosmetics, or she can think of books. Okay, so what are the data sets that have books? What are the ones that easily be scrapped? So for any website you go to, once you type slash and robots.txt, then you can have something like that. So I think if you go to what other one can I use? Let's try Amoye. Amoye is the platform. So let's see if Amoye. Any site, it's from what I heard though, not I'm not sure, I'm not a web developer. But any site that does not have this is not following the procedure. So so I think even the fact that you cannot see the robot.txt on the Amoye website, it lets you know that it cannot be scrapped, something like that. So but then let me just try this and see robots.txt. But I think the convention is when you use robot.txt for a full-blown website, well, we could scrap this and this doesn't have it also. But for most of these popular big websites, when you put slash robot.txt, if they won't allow you to scrape it, they will let you know that you can't scrape this data set. So, but still, I'll try my best to like get a few websites that I know, but you guys can search. If you check around on Kaggle, if you just check around on Kaggle for web scraping, you see a lot of guys that worked on different. I think there's even a guy that worked on this kind of stuff also. On this football, I think he used this under start also. There's a guy that worked on that. There are also people that have worked on other websites for web scraping that you can take idea from. You can take their link and then try to do something on your own. Anyhow, that's whatever works, but just try to make sure that it's an original idea and it's not just someone else's code explicitly.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, no problem. So Olariwaju, let's take the last question so we can all call it a day for
Thank
today.
you for your time today. I'm just curious. Having scraped the website, what is our goal? You to
The goal
predict
is to
the
create a visualization report. So with this
or
data, that's what we'll be doing. Sorry, you were saying something.
make predictions on the team that will win the next match social time, or what's the target?
Yes, you can try to do that. You can try, that's an avenue, but that's for data scientists. For we, in this track we are data science, sorry, we are data storytellers. So what we can try to do is try to visualize, okay, in this team, this is the in this year, this is the team that had the highest positive expected goals. So does the team that have the highest expected goals, do they actually score the highest goals? For the team that have the lowest expected goals, did they actually get the lowest expected goals? Okay, for the team that had the highest points, what is their pattern of winning? Do they win consecutive matches? How many matches do they win consecutively? All those kind of things are what data storytellers try to do. You try to present this in a visual image. So this data that we have just scraped, that's what we're going to be using it for, to just try to get a view of different um analysis of what happened in that year for that football year. Is that understandable? But yes, for data science guys, for example, data science guys can try to use this data to predict who will win the next match. It's possible. All right. So thank you all for your patience also. It's not easy being um in this stuff. So in here now, once again, when you go through this, I'll send the code to the group as soon as I can, and just try to go through the videos again. I'm sure you um have a feel of whatever it is we are doing. And practice makes perfect. No one knows everything from start. You just have to make sure that you keep practicing, and the more you practice, the better you get at it. So that will be all for today. You guys have a wonderful day.